Hey, SEGways!
It's not often that I find a video that I'm not sure I should make. Usually I follow my gut and just go for it. But the subject matter today is very delicate and controversial. I'm sure I'll get my fair share of Celina Spooky Boo fans who will defend her no matter what. The two big reasons that I went down the path of researching and creating this video today is the alarming and disgusting lies Celina told in that Sam and Colby Hell Week video when she claimed that in the Ferrara school, when the location was operational as an elementary school, that children were being essayed, murdered, and their bodies were incinerated in the school basement boiler.
No? What's up? What's up? What did you see? What did you see?
That's what happened.
What happened? What? Really? What? What are you feeling?
So I get flashes and pictures. It's like someone else's memory in my head. I don't know if it was a teacher or who it was, but like, I'm like sad to stay on it. I saw a man sitting on a chair, and then the flash, it was like different kids.
Let's see if he's rotting in hell or not, I guess.
In the boiler, and they started it up, and then he used a shovel. But I think like whatever's left is like buried.
I debunked this nonsense when I covered Sam and Colby's Hell Week video several months ago, but I think it is a very good example of the lengths Celina will go to get the attention she so clearly craves. There is no evidence at all that anyone even died at the Ferrara school, let alone children were essayed and murdered there. And of course, all Celina had to go off to make these silly claims were her psychic medium nonsense abilities. The second reason that led me to today's video is Celina claiming that she's going to attempt to channel the late Lorraine Warren, because she pretty much wants herself and her husband to become the next Ed and Lorraine Warren. She wants to pick up where they left off.
I am going to someone who can channel Ed and Lorraine Warren, and I'm hoping to get her blessing. Mainly Lorraine, I just feel so connected to her. I've had some dreams where she's come to me and I just need validation from an outside source. But Adam and I are going to start traveling North America and helping people with their ghosts and helping them cross over. It's kind of like what Ed and Lorraine Warren did, mixed kind of with like the show Paranormal State, if you remember back in the day. I vibrate high now and I'm so happy because of you guys, and I want to use my gift to help other people. So the Haunted Estate is about to turn into something really different. I'm excited for you guys to see that side of Adam and how spiritual he is, and I think that it's just I'm gonna cry.
As ridiculous as all of this is, Celina actually has more in common with Lorraine Warren than just the glaringly obvious fake psychic medium thing. They have both greatly exaggerated and said some questionable things in a real life violent murder case. With Ed and Lorraine Warren, I'm talking about the murder of Alan Bono in the Devil Made Me Do It trial, and with Celina, I'm talking about the tragic death of Victoria or Tori Stafford. Celina went on trial as a witness for the prosecution to Tori's killer. I will not be mentioning this monster by name, nor his girlfriend who was his accomplice. They are both complete and utter pieces of shit, and they do not deserve to have their names mentioned. Celina went on to make a video talking about her side of what happened during this whole thing, and what was said in Celina's YouTube video seems to directly contradict what Celina said on trial. In my opinion, I believe that Celina has bent truths and greatly exaggerated her involvement in this whole thing, and she seems to have done this to make herself be the main character in this tragedy. There will be none of my usual jokes in today's video. This is one of those side-eye guy serious videos. And just to show how serious I'm taking all of this, I'm bringing out my big gun here, Agent F. Agent F has been a huge help in the research of this video, so really, thank you very much to Agent F.
I have recorded this story a couple times for YouTube, but I've taken it down due to some comments and some backlash from people in my town. But I think I'm at the point now where I don't really care what people think or say anymore.
I would really like to know the kind of backlash Celina is worried about here.
This story has changed my entire life. It has changed who I am as a person. And I think about it every minute of every single day.
Listen, as much as I have reason to believe that Celina has greatly exaggerated her trauma here, I have no doubt that this could well have affected her. When you read about what this monster did to the victim, Tori, it is so difficult to comprehend that a human being could do that to an 8-year-old girl. I hope there is a hell just for this guy and people like him to burn in. Of course, all of this would affect anyone who was involved in it. But as this video goes on, you'll see why I believe Celina is not not being totally sincere when she says that she thinks about this every minute of every single day. But I really should take this opportunity now to ask you all to please go watch Celina's original video so you do not think I'm taking anything out of context in my video.
And that is about the murder of 8-year-old Victoria Stafford and the very small part that I had in that story.
Celina does say that she plays a small part, but really it is a tiny part in the overall story. But Celina, however, greatly exacerbates her involvement in all this. And as far as I can tell, she is really just doing this for clout and views.
I do live with a lot of PTSD because of this story, and I'm really thankful to the support system that I have.
A big reason I was hesitant to make this video is because if Celina decided to respond to my video, as unlikely as that may well be, and if she just starts crying on camera and calls me a bully and all that stuff, then I'm gonna get legions of her fans coming after me. I highly doubt it would matter any of the research or the facts that I'm going to show in this video. I would just be public enemy number one. But I want to state this very clearly right now, that I stand behind everything I'm about to say in this video.
On my 17th birthday, I was at a house party, and I had downloaded an app called Zeus. It was attached to Facebook, and it was like Tinder, where it told you how far away somebody was from you. And I got a notification. This guy wanted to talk to me. From the picture, he was very handsome, and he was super kind.
I suppose one of the interesting things to point out in this whole ordeal as well is how with all of Celina Spooky Boo's alleged psychic abilities, she didn't see any of this coming. But honestly, let's not dwell on that too much.
And at 17 years old, being this dorky, chubby, weird girl, I was so excited that this, grown-up man wanted to talk to me. I didn't even think that it was weird at the time.
The one thing I can 100% agree on Celina with and get behind is that everyone needs to be careful when it comes to talking to strangers online.
So on this app for the next 2 days, we chatted back and forth, back and forth. I knew I was never going to meet him, and I decided to kind of chill the conversation after 3 days. On that third day, I got up to go to work. I'll never forget my dad coming into my room and saying, "Who's in the driveway?" I think it was like 6 a.m. And I looked out my bedroom window and the car was already going down the street. That day, when I got to work, that car was in the back of the parking lot. And when I went for lunch break, that man came into my work and asked my coworker for my phone number. When I came back from lunch and she said, "This handsome guy came in, he asked for your phone number," I never put 2 and 2 together that it was this man.
So this is what Celina means by the title of her video. This murderous monster apparently stalked Celina. I have no idea how Zeus works. I don't even think it's a thing anymore and I never used it. But unless Celina put her full name into this app, or she shared very personal information with a stranger after just 2 days of chatting with him, then I have no idea how he would have ever discovered her home address or place of work. I mean, I don't know, maybe because Zeus was part of Facebook? Maybe it just showed the full name of the person you were talking to. Seems kind of silly and dangerous to me for an app to do that, but I don't know. And I'm sure stalkers have their way of finding information about people they want to stalk, but this whole thing is still striking me as a little bit odd.
That night at 2 a.m. I got a phone call. It was him. And I said, "How'd you get my phone number?" And he said, "Oh, I got it from the girl at work." And again, I wasn't scared. I was flattered that he had gone the extra mile to get my number, that maybe he had seen me in real life and I didn't need to be self-conscious because he actually knew what I looked like, because, I didn't look like my profile picture that much. I would see this car everywhere when I was at work. It was in the parking lot. I ended up telling him he made me uncomfortable. I started seeing a different person and I got this call from him, and I guess he was watching because he said that I was gross for seeing this person and that this person was bad, but I literally didn't know him, and at this point I was getting scared. So I told my parents, and I'm pretty sure my parents had contacted the police at that point. One day I was out with my best friend Brienne, and he had called and he had called and he had called, and she called him. She said, "I don't want you to call my friend ever again. Do not talk to her."
The problem I have with this story is that I got Celina's court transcript from the killer's trial, and in her testimony she doesn't bring any of this up. The prosecuting lawyer even leaves open-ended questions for Celina to help her bury the killer, but Celina just doesn't deliver. At any point, Celina could have mentioned the things that she is talking about in this YouTube video. The prosecutor obviously wants to put this killer behind bars, and Celina had a good few opportunities to give a character assessment of the kind of creep she says this guy is. But instead, we only hear about any of this in a YouTube video, way after the case was closed. I mean, don't get me wrong, the killer was still found guilty, but I cannot help to think that there is something really wrong about having such huge contradictions between what you said on the stand and what you are going to say on a YouTube video. Here's a good example of Celina having every opportunity to tell her story in court. The lawyer asked Celina, "Did your decisions online ever turn beyond simple friendship?" Right here, Celina can put the record straight and say that it was not a friendship, that this guy was a creepy stalker who discovered her home address somehow, and also discovered her place of work somehow. And he made her feel very uncomfortable and unsafe. That he continuously persisted with unwanted communication with her. But instead, when she took the stand, she just answered with yes. And that was it. Nothing more. She literally gave the courts none of this information.
My friend Brienne and I went to Walmart, and we were in the shoe section. We were looking at shoes, and we heard this woman on the other side of the aisle going, "No, I don't need your help, sir. Sir, I don't need your help." We looked through, and I saw him. And he turned his head, and he looked at me, and he goes, "Celina." My friend and I book it. We're 17. We're terrified. We run out to my car. That car that had been on my street, that weirdly painted Honda Civic, was parked against my driver door.
This is the kind of stuff that frustrates me with Celina's video. From what she says on YouTube, where she gains money from this story, is very different to what she said in court. Celina said that she never met the killer in the courtroom testimony, while she is under oath, let's not forget. But according to her YouTube video, the killer saw her, called out her name, and even tried to trap her car in the parking lot with his car, according to Celina's account in her YouTube video.
That car that had been on my street, that weirdly painted Honda Civic, was parked against my driver door.
She does say in court that she saw him in Walmart, but fails to mention that the killer was stalking her at the time. Celina even says in court that she recognized the killer from his profile photos, and that she saw him driving his car around town. Again, it would have been a great opportunity to tell the court that he was driving to her place of work or her home to stalk her.
The day that I got the last text message from him, I was with my friend, and we were in the car. And I've always tried to figure out what the message was. But I know that he had asked me to help him with something, like moving something. Like, I'd never met him. He would ask all these weird things all the time to try and get me to come out. And then I didn't hear anything. And then later that day, the whole downtown was full of people throwing missing posters at the cars that drove by.
So this is the point of the story where Tori went missing and sadly was murdered. The killer had actually tried to contact Celina on the same day he murdered Tori. This is actually true. But again, Celina's story wildly contradicts the courtroom transcripts.
And in this moment, I didn't know. The police told me later on that he texted me again at 11:30 p.m., but that I didn't respond.
So let's read out what was said in court.
We understand, because we have the advantage of phone records, that on the 8th day of April 2029, at 11:31 p.m, there was a text message sent to you by Mr. Do you recall receiving that text message?
No, I don't recall.
Okay, is it possible that it happened or not?
Yes.
Alright. We also understand that at 11:55 p.m, again on April the 8th, 2009, there was another text message sent to you by Mr. Do you recall specifically that message?
I don't.
Okay, again, was it possible that it occurred?
Yes.
So according to Celina's story in her YouTube video, she was told by the police that she got a text message from the killer.
The police told me later on that he texted me again at 11:30 p.m.
But Celina still said that it didn't happen, or that she didn't remember it happening in court. I would have thought that if the police told you about a text message like this, because let's not forget that anything that was said to Celina by the police would have happened way before the trial. So how on earth did she not read that text message after the police told her that there was a text message sent to her by this killer? Surely she would have read it, sent it to the police, and remembered it, because you know, that's not the kind of thing most human beings would ever forget. Remember, this text was sent on the same day that Tori was murdered. If Celina for some reason deleted that text message, why wouldn't she have said that in court? I think what happened here, and I do have to stress this is just my theory or hypothesis, that Celina totally forgot that she got this text message. She was startled about it when it was brought up in court, and she just told the truth in that moment by saying that she did not remember getting the text, because she didn't actually remember getting the text. And she's kind of twisted the truth here by mentioning the police told her about the text and she didn't remember to save face. It doesn't look very good to forget a text like this when you're on camera crying about how sad you are about Tori. I mean, how can you not remember a text you got from the killer on the same day he committed the crime? If the police told you about this and you forgot about it, how can you forget about it a second time in court after the police had already told you about this text message? Also, Celina alludes that the killer wanted to help her move something over their phone call.
But I know that he had asked me to help him with something, like moving something. Like, I'd never met him. He would ask all these weird things all the time to try and get me to...
And the phone call was also on the same day, according to Celina, as the murder happened. Odd how the lawyer doesn't bring that up though, isn't it? The lawyer says outright that they have the phone records. He says it right to Celina in court. You'd have thought that a phone call where Celina spoke directly to the killer on the same day that he committed the murder would be far more noteworthy than a text. Especially when the killer apparently asked Celina to move something for him. And I think we all know what Celina is alluding to when she says this, and honestly, it is absolutely disgusting. I mean, if we're to believe Celina's story, she even seemed to forget in court that she got a phone call from the killer, since she was outright asked about any line of communication from the killer on the 8th of April. I think Celina is greatly exaggerating, if not outright lying about what actually took place on that day. The only thing of importance she seemed to have forgot about while she was asked in court about it.
They'd taken an old factory in town and it was full of the FBI because everyone was just trying to find her, and there were so many different stories and so many ins and outs, and there was...
The FBI were not involved in this case at all. The FBI can go international, but it is first and foremost a USA institution. And Celina is Canadian. This whole thing took place in Canada. I'm not sure if this was a genuine mistake from Celina where she misspoke, or if it's yet another example of her getting carried away with this whole story and just adding in details that never actually happened.
I came home one day from work, and my mom was yelling at me from the back family room. She goes, "Celina, Victoria is dead and they know who killed her." And it was his profile picture from Zeusk, saying to my mom, "That's him." And she knew who him was. My mom had called the police. And the police kept showing up at our house and calling and knocking on our door. And they always had these little tidbits, which made the story scarier and scarier. Like that he had this piece of cardboard in his car with my name and all these things written about me. Or always asked me what these text messages were about, and I literally didn't know.
Listen, I know I've been very critical of Celina in this video, but I can totally understand that this would be scary for any 17 or 18-year-old girl to go through. But the police are just doing their job to put this monster behind bars, and they need your help to not be the victim here. You're supposed to be helping the police bring justice to the actual victim. I'm also very skeptical if the killer actually had Celina's name written down anywhere. The killer had communication with multiple women that he met online. Celina was on stand for just 4 minutes and was one of many women who spoke up against the killer. Celina was a very small cog on this whole horrible story. And of course, we've only got Celina's word that anything she's saying in this YouTube video is true.
But they knew that he had been, like, stalking me. To this day, I can't answer a knocked on door. I hear knocking and I shut down. And I have to have Christmas carols as phone ringers.
I gotta be honest, I don't believe this either. In so many of her ghost hunting videos, there is screaming, knocking, general loud noises. I think this is just more of Celina's main character energy coming through right now.
But I went to the store and I bought 500 purple balloons full of helium. And I made 500 purple butterflies, because that was Tori's thing, purple butterflies. And I decorated the town. And I remember standing at her school when the sun was coming up. And there were all the butterflies and all the balloons. And I thought I would feel some kind of peace. And I didn't.
The first time I heard this, I got to admit, I thought it was complete BS. But then Agent F found this article showing that it was in fact true. Celina did in fact do this for Tori, but much like the rest of Celina's video, it is full of half-truths. First off, according to the article, it wasn't in fact 500 balloons, but it was more like 300. It's still a lot of balloons, don't get me wrong, but I guess 500 just sounds a lot better to say on camera. Also, the article clearly states that Celina had help from her friend, that they both said that they took months to prepare for this whole thing. But Celina conveniently fails to mention her friend helping her in the video. She makes out that she did this all by herself. She doesn't seem to want to share this virtuous act with anyone else. And I think it's very unfair to fail to mention the other person who helped Celina do all this. However, even still, credit where credit is due here, this is a really lovely gesture to commemorate Tori.
And I'll never forget standing trial, and I was so mad at the trial. I was so mad because they were just, it was just verifying questions. Did you meet him? Did you this? They didn't ask the important questions. Like I had told the police when I was at Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and I had these little sisters, he would drive by, and I honestly feel like at that point that I was targeted. Like maybe I was targeted.
Celina makes it all about herself yet again here. I'm going to put up the whole transcript here in my video so you don't think I'm taking any of it out of context. Pause the video and have a read of it at your own leisure. I honestly believe that Celina had many opportunities to state her case and tell the court her full story. I believe that the prosecutor would have been more than happy for Celina to share this. But nothing like what is said in the video came out of Celina's mouth while she took the stand in court while under oath. This is just my opinion, of course. You may well read it very differently to me, but it's also important to note that Celina didn't actually know Tori.
Because I didn't know her, but I felt like I knew her.
I mean, this is hardly surprising since Celina was 17 and Tori was 8. I'm not saying this to say that Celina's mourning is totally insincere, I just think she is exaggerating it. I do not believe this guy stalked Celina, and certainly not to the extent that she is making out he did in her video. From what is said by Celina while under oath, it is very different to the sensationalized version of her YouTube video. But when all said and done, for me, it keeps coming back to that Sam and Colby Hell Week video. She accused a teacher or teachers from that school doing exactly what ended up happening to Tori. And she had no issue with spreading that lie. She didn't seem to have any issue with her morality putting that out there on the internet for millions to see without backing up with any kind of proof whatsoever. And I have no doubt whatsoever that whenever Celina claims anything that comes from her psychic medium abilities, it's total horseshit. But for me, it just cheapens everything that Celina is trying to say about Tori in this video. So please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. And I will say before I end the video that with all of Celina's half-truths and inconsistencies, I do believe to some extent that this would have affected her to some degree. So please keep that in mind when you leave comments. And of course, don't go over to Celina's channel and spread any hate. Another huge thank you to Agent F for all of his help in this video. Ta very much, cheerio.